Okay, I'm going to say shalom to everyone. Thank the Most High for another day. I'm going to get into a very touchy, a very sensitive topic in regards to mental illness and or demon possession. Um, this is a new way. This setup under YouTube, they have it set up where you can go straight live. I guess I'm probably a little late on uh, this type of way of doing it, but I thought I would go into it this way. Um, when it comes down to mental illness, and hopefully everyone can hear me. Um, how is the volume? And yeah, we're just gonna give this a few more minutes. Like I said, this is new to us. I'm trying to get the volume together. I'm not sure if it's clear or not. Shalom, uh, Kendrick. How's the volume? It's perfect. All right, good. Appreciate that. All right. Now, in this particular lesson is a very important lesson because we're taught to believe that a mental illness is something that can be treated carnally, where they can give you a pill, they can give you what you would call a so-called drug, psychodopic drug, or whatever you want to call it, psychiatric drug. There's so many different names to it. But the main issue is the spirit, the spiritual aspect of a mental illness. I'm going to show you some terms. Um, I am not too savvy on how to show or share the screen. But what I would like to do is go into some definitions. Now I'm going to go into the carnal definition first for the word mental. All right, so we can get that straight. All right, now the carnal definition, just for the word mental, of or relating to the mind, right? Mental powers, and that's key. Mental suffering. Then definition two, of relating to or affected by a disorder of the mind. And we're going to go into these so-called disorders. Then it says providing care of or for persons with disorders, minds, emotions. Okay. Then you'll see the word hospital. When you look up the regular uh, dictionary or the worldly dictionary. Okay. Now, for the word mental in the Greek, okay, maybe I can type this in the chat so you all can have it. Right. Mental. And this is something like a class setup. We're going to go into term 4151. Okay. And if you have a Greek concordance, you can put that in. And it is pneuma or pneuma, because the P is more than likely silent. And it means illness. I'm going to read it. Okay. Greek number. Now, I use the Greek. Of course, I use Hebrew, but the Greek, a lot of times, to break down the English language so you can decode what you're actually reading in the world of definitions today, so you can link it into the spiritual part of it. Of course, the Hebrew does that as well, but I just want to deal with the Hellenistic Greek that our foreparents translate. Okay, so let's go to 4151. All right, I'm going to read 4151, and it says, now mind you, we're talking about the word mental. Definition for mental: a current of air. Current of air. Mind you, remember that the Most High breathed in the nostrils of man the breath of life. So you're supposed to have the spirit of the Most High in you, right? In the beginning. Now let's just keep reading. Or a breeze, by analogy, or figuratively, a spirit. You see that? Mental links into the spirit. Then it has in parentheses, i.e., human, the rational soul, right? By implication, vital, principle, mental disposition, etc., or superhuman, an angel. Then it says demon or divine. Then it says or, because at first, like we just read, it says a blast of air, the Most High breathed in the nostrils of man when he was created. Then it says God, which in the Hebrew means ahaya. If you're reading the Yiddish translation of Hebrew, it would say ethia, or Christ, spirit, the Holy Spirit, ghost. Then it says life, spirit, usually mind. Now, if Satan can attack a person's mind, he can attack the spirit. Because anytime you hear someone say, oh, he has a mental illness, a mental disorder, what's wrong with him? Why is he going off? A lot of times there's a spirit attacking that person. Okay? Now let's go to the other definition. Let me type this into. Maybe I can send this link. Let's see if it let me send the link on the chat. Okay, let me see. So you all can kind of like follow me. And that is the link. I'm not sure if it'll work, but hopefully it does. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And I'm glad someone put in there, hey, send the link. I'm glad. Appreciate that. All right. 4152. Pneumatikos. Pneumatikos is very, the Greek is extremely hard to pronounce, but let me just give you the definition. 4152. Then it says non-carnal, which all leads to or links to mental, humanly. And then it says as opposed to gross, a spirit, concretely or divinely, supernatural, regenerate, religious, spiritual. So that's why they have institutions set up. And I'm going to lead this lesson to understand, like, wow, people are off even with the foods and things of that nature, like the certain foods you eat, and I'm gonna bring that out too. So it all leads to religious institutions. Why would they call a place of worship a religious institution? Like you're institutionalizing someone, or a mental health facility is called an institution because they understand how the mind works based on Satan giving them the idea to do this. That's what spirits do. They give you ideas. They put things in your place where, ooh, wonder what that shiny little diamond thing is in the ground. Oh wow, it's beautiful. Oh, then everybody gravitate to blood diamonds and all that, killing each other. And that's what they do. They deal with it. People worship anything that shines because of Satan himself. You know what I mean? And his ghouls, which is the falling spirits, the falling angels. Excuse me. All right. So I just want to show you that. I mean, I can go on and on with these definitions. Okay. Uh, let's go to a few more definitions. Greek number 1089. All right. Greek number 1089. Oh, I'm tripping. Let me just type in 1089. 1089. And it means a primary verb to taste. Remember, I wanted to bring out this. This is all linked to mental. Remember that. This is all linked to the word mental. I didn't even get into the word illness yet. To taste, by implication, to eat. Figuratively, to experience, good or ill. eat, taste? How can you experience good or ill? The tree of life. Did they ingest food to become wicked? Yes. So Satan understands to put certain types of ingredients in your food to cause your vibration level to drop and lower your IQ. It's all linked together. It's all linked together. Okay, that's why they say you are what you eat. If you think deeply, you are what you eat. If you eat unnatural foods that's genetically modified, you become what you eat. Artificial thoughts, this false reality. Oh, the American dream. Yes, this is the best place on earth. And then you go to other countries and you're not putting together that the so-called fake American dream is only based on the bloodshed of other countries, and then they send them aid. Oh yes, look at Iraq and all these wars that's about to brew, especially with the war of Iran. I'm not trying to change the topic, okay? So let's go into another definition. Like I said, I told people I was going to go into a nice lesson on this, okay? 2556, which is kakos in the Greek. 2556, right? And the link that was provided to you all in the chat, you can still use that same link and put these in. All right. Is it 2526? Excuse me, 2556. Excuse me. Salakia. 2556. I know it's in there somewhere. Yes, 2556. Then it says apparently a primary word worthless. That's kind of deep, right? Worthless. Whereas properly referred to effects, depraved or objectively injurious, bad, evil, harm, ill, noisome, wicked. This is in the word mental, right? Mental. Okay. Let's go to 4190. There's another definition. 4190. I know I got a lot of definitions, but I'm going to show scriptures on this. You all can have it. Those of you that follow my channel, y'all know that I like to break down words because what I do is when I hear certain words, certain definitions, oh man, he got a mental illness. Or what does mental mean? Break it down for me. What does illness mean? Let's break it down. Especially when you're dealing with the mind. You gotta be careful when people try to target the mind. Everything is about the mind. They put billboards up. You'll be hungry as I don't know what. You traveling. By the time you get to where you're going, you feel like you need to spend almost $100 on food because in clothes or whatever because you didn't seen all these different billboards with different colors on the highway while you're driving. So that's how they get you. This subconscious mind is extremely powerful. They know, they understand. That's why if you ever notice a lot of these businesses that you would think, how would they make all this money? Well, you can't even understand it because they use high level witchcraft. All right. All right. 4190. Paneras. Hurtful, evil. Hurtful, evil. Hurtful and evil. This is in the word, just the word mental itself. We didn't even get to the word illness yet, right? Properly in effect or influence and thus differing from, then it goes into the other one I read, 2556, which refers rather to essential character, as well as from 4550 is giving you um, other definitions, which indicates degeneracy, right? From original virtue, figuratively clematis, or passively ill. Clematis links to the word clamor, or like clamorous. ill, i.e., diseased. See, a mental disorder, a diseased person, a sickness links to sin. Okay, but especially morally um, culpable. I don't know how to say that word. Culpable, i.e., derelict, vicious, uh, fictitious, neuter, mischief, malice, guilt. Then it goes into the word masculine, the devil. The devil. What does the word mental have to do with the devil? You see that? That's why I wanted to read those. Some words were a little tough to read. Okay, I mean it's and it goes to even you can read 5501. Okay, irregular, obsolete, equivalent of uncertain uh, derivation, more evil or aggravated, physically, mentally or morally, sorer, worse. All right, so those are the definitions. Now, let's go to Romans chapter 8, verse 6. Romans 8, verse 6. Romans 8 and 6. All right. Romans 8 and 6 says, for to be carnally minded is death. Wonder why, right? We just read the definitions, right? For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is hatred. That's what the word enmity means, against the Most High. For it is not subject to the law of God. So when people say, man, why are you following the law? You can eat whatever you want, just a little bit, you know. You know, I heard someone say a day or two ago, oh, you know, it's okay for your wife to, she don't have to wear, you know, covers all the time. She can just reveal her shape sometimes. Yeah, really? Keep yourself covered under the law. If the law say a man do this, do that, and a woman do this, do that, then do it. You know, not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. So if you're in the flesh, you cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. If so be that the Spirit of God dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of his. And if Christ be in you, the body is dead. You see that? The Spirit of Christ is life. Because now this deadly flesh has to be eradicated because of Satan and his deception. The only way Satan can deceive you is through your mind. He's making, and I wanted to bring it out forth this way because some people think, oh, you know, mental illness is just those of the people that's just acting off and foaming at the mouth, or someone that's just talking to themselves. That's the last estate of a demon possession. A lot of people are dragged in slowly to it. Oh, smoke a couple of joints, you know, drink until you get drunk. You do that for a couple of years, you think you're all right. You can still move around, you can still walk. Oh, okay, cool. Then all of a sudden, you acting off, and now you you are out of your mind because of demon possession. It starts slow. They don't just jump on you because that'd be like, oh man, I need to get myself together. No, they do it slow, slow. These demons, these spirits are patient. All right, what verse I stop
You stopped at verse 10.
at? And if Christ, excuse me, and if Christ be in you, the body is dead. He cause of sin, excuse me, because of sin. But the spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the spirit of him that raised up Yeshua from the dead, I'll just say Jesus for those of you that's new to my channel, Jesus from the dead dwell in you. He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by the spirit that dwelleth in you. Okay? All right, so let's go to Greek number 4797. I got to bring something out in that one. All right. Greek number 4797. Greek number 4797. And it says some of the terms is like, the Greek and the Hebrew, they is a lot of times have a broad definition. But let me just try to break it down. It says, or it's alternate to commingle presumptuously, excuse me, promiscuously, figuratively to throw. Then it says an assembly into order to perplex the mind, disorder to perplex the mind, confound, confuse, stir up, be in an uproar. Then it says be in uproar. Now the big definition is when it says in disorder, and then it says um, to pour, or its alternate to commingle. Now what does that represent? It represents how our people in the Old Testament and nowadays we're not supposed to be dealing with commingling and dealing with other gods and dealing following the other nations. Now, of course, I want to bring this out during our time of, you would say, ignorance. Of course, a lot of us dealt with the other nations by marriage. Okay, this is not to say that you're supposed to just put away your whole family and, oh, I'm Hebrew, I found out, and now you're dealing with, you know, you know, dis- disrupting a whole family. It's not talking about that. I'm just making that clear. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, based on us doing that in our ignorance, we've become a scattered nation. All right, so let's go to the next definition, which is right below it, 4799. Then it says co-mixture or commixture. It's really co-mixture, figuratively, uh, riotous or disturbance, confusion. Okay, I'm going to look up the word tumult for you because when you look up the word uprise, it'll bring you to, or like an uproar represents the word tumult. All right, so let's go to Psalms 83. Let me just type some of this in. Psalms 83. I'm typing that in. I'm chatting, putting that in the chat because I want y'all to read this. Now, the reason why I'm going here first, like I said, a lot of times when you hear the word mental illness, it's not broken down for us to understand. Most of the time, if you see someone out of their mind walking around uh, barefooted on glass, and their feet is bleeding, of course they're dealing with demons. Or when the time that Christ, when the man came to Christ in Matthew's, he said, "My son he's a lunatic. He's going in and out of the fire. He'd go in the fire and then in the water." What he was doing was he was getting a thrill out of burning himself, and then he was diving in water. Yeah, he's lunatic represents someone going off because of spirits. That spirit had to be cast out of that man's son. All right. So let's go to Psalms 83. Psalms 83. I'm gonna start at the first verse, and it says, "Keep not thy silence, O God." When it says "keep not thy silence," there's going to be people that's going to, speak. Teachers, preachers, elders, deacons, bishops. That's going to rise in these last days. The true, Spirit of the Most High through our bloodline will teach the, the scriptures, and We're not going to hold no peace. This is what David was talking about. He's not going to hold his tongue at all. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make an uprise or tumult. That's what tumult, an uproar. That's when you read, when you look up the word tumult, it brings that out. And they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Crafty means strategic, deceptive. So the ones that came against us, those are the ones that have the true mental illness. Okay? They're the ones that's dealing with Satan on another level to be able to take a whole nation down and deceive them. That's a true person with a mental problem because they're following a demonic spirit. Okay? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. There's a hidden people which commingled themselves, now taking on their oppressive spirit. Okay? Let me just say this real quick. The first nation, and I know I might get some pushback, but truth hurts, and I gotta speak it. The first nation on earth that were considered homosexual were Hamites. Okay, there was no such thing as homosexuality. Before those people, Hamites or Africans. Now, let me make this very clear because I know some people say, "Well, ain't you African American?" No, just because we resemble them people doesn't mean. And I'm not saying every Hamite or Hamitic person is homosexual, but they're the progenitors of that particular spirit. Okay, just making that clear. For they have said, where I'm at, 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Okay, so if a nation is cut off, these people, our enemies, took crafty counsel, strategic plans put in place to cut a nation of people off. How can this happen? Through witchcraft, through possession. If you're dealing with witchcraft on a high level, dealing with certain type of formations or what have you, this can happen. For they have consulted together with one consent. Matter of fact, let me go back. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance, right? For they have consulted together with one consent. When it says they, it's talking about the Gentile nations. With one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. Edom is your so called evil seed of the Europeans. Okay. And the Ishmaelites. That is talking about the evil of your the Ishmaelites. I always forget the name. Arabs. Okay. Or Moab and the Hagarenes. Gabal and Ammon and Amalek. When it says Amalek, it's linking in to when Esau dealt with uh, the Hittites. Okay, like this is all in a lesson in itself. The Hittites, right? They linked in, had children, and Hittites were mixed, like we call like hybrids, because they were mixed with angelic DNA, the falling angels. Okay, the Philistines. We understand that they were the the, the falling angels' kids that bore giants through having sex with women on earth, with the inhabitants of Tyre. And Asher also joined with them. When you look up Tyre, that actually links into um, I forgot their name too, the Syrians. Okay, Assyria or whatever. They all joined. All the other nations joined together to come against Israel. All right, and it says they have helped the children of Salah. So I wanted to, so we understand the deception of mental illness is to be deceived in thinking that you're someone when you're not. That is when you're to the point where someone is speaking truth to you and you don't do any research to try to find out if it's true, and you feel in your mind, oh, that's too much work. You just go back to the same thing. You have to check what's up here. You have to check what you're eating. You have to check the air that you're breathing. You got to understand that mental illness doesn't always have to be someone out in the streets, you know, running bare naked down the street all the time. Okay, but that can happen as well. That's the, like I said, that's the last estate. If someone constantly legislate rights, saying that it's okay to be homosexual, it's okay for you to not teach gender anymore in schools now. They not even, it's, what is it called, gender something, where they don't teach kids that they are male or female no more. Come on, and you accept it, then something's wrong up here. Okay, you're dealing with some type of spirit. And that's what it is. Now, I wanted to read something too, because some people say, well, you're jumping on a homosexual crowd. Yes. Before it was considered a mental illness, because it's, if a man acting like a woman, then there's something wrong with him. There's a demon possession. Okay. You have to cast those types of spirits. You can't just pray for a person. Oh, I'm gonna pray for you, and you know, no, you have to fast and pray, put your hands on them, and cast those demons out of the person. When it's to that point where a man is acting like a woman, when a woman is acting like a man, it's past the point where you can just pray for a person and have them come to repentance. That's a good thing to have, to want to do that for that person. But you better make sure that you're able to cast the spirits out. You have to be able to cast demons out. That's a demon in a person for a man to act like a woman. Okay, that's a so-called in the world a mental illness. Now I'm gonna show you in the definition or in the dictionary how they, try to say, well, it's not considered a mental illness no more. Or I may say they basically put it in the definition or the dictionary saying that is a what you would call a mental illness. Give me 1 second. All right. Now, when you go to this definition, I'm just going to pull it up here so you all can look at it yourself. I'm just going to read a snippet of it. So I'm just going to, so, people don't think I'm making this stuff up. You can just go to Wikipedia. Of course, this is not the best source for information, but I like to show how easy it is to get in, to get information. Okay. Now, when you go to this definition, I just shared the link with you all, right? All you have to do is read that actual definition, or pretty much a story. I mean, it's just crazy. Um, it says in October 1974, the Australian and New Zealand Association of Psychiatry declared that it's where they messed up. It's no longer considered homosexuality a mental illness. Following an active campaign and a survey of its members, some months later, the American Psychiatric Association declassified homosexuality as a mental disorder. Now, I had another document up. I should have kept it up. But when you read it, when it says in 1973, APA removed homosexuality from list of mental illness, which shows that it was in mental illness before. And I believe when I read it, I lost the other one that I had, but it was actually saying that in 1950, in the 1950s. Well, let me see. I got one here. Hold on. And it says when homosexuality stopped being a mental disorder. This was first published in 1968. The American Classification of Mental Disorder listed homosexuality as a mental disorder. In this, the DSM followed in a long tradition in medicine and what is that word? I can never say it. Was psychiatry, which in the 19th century appropriated homosexuality from the church and in an elan of enlightenment. So I just wanted to read like a little excerpt so you all to know. I know a lot of you all know this, but this thing here is is really, it's all confusion. You know what I mean? Like an illness itself. Let me just bring that out real quick too. 1089 for illness. Okay, Greek number 1089. I meant to say that. You might have to put in the word ill. Ness is just hold on. Let me just show you all this. All right, that's the link. Okay. 1089. Ill. A primary verb to taste by implication to eat. Okay, we went through that already. That was actually the word ill. Well, it all links to mental. And then 4190. It's all linked to mischief, malice, or what you would call grievous, bad, evil. So that's why they put mental and ill there, because they know both a spiritual situation is going to happen to you. Then all of a sudden now you're going to have a devil on you. Okay, so that's why I like to kind of break down the word. And then if you look at Greek number 5355, it links to the word jealousy, spite, envy. Okay, the Most High, of course, created Lucifer. Then all of a sudden, when he fell, he became greedy. He deceived the third part of the angels. They fell, and now you have a possession of all type of spirits on people in a deceptive world, to the point where a lot of people believe that they're free in certain countries. Uh, America, number one, but yet there's laws to say that it's limitations. Like how, you're either free or you're not. Okay, you're either free or you're not. You can't have limitations on a person and you didn't say they free. So that's another thing too. I don't like, to me. And when I make these type of videos or live feeds or whatever, I have so much information that's and I'm trying to make sense of it, because I'm trying to figure out how can someone say the American dream, live the American dream, and I'm figuring out what is it. It's a dream. You're in a dream world, Neo, the Matrix. Okay, that's what you're doing. Now let's go to Jeremiah 7, verse 19. Now all this deception, all this mental problems, and all these spirits is fighting you. You wake up with palpitations. You may wake up with sweats and all this stuff, because a lot of us go through stress. Okay, on the body, hotep, brother. It's not. I shouldn't be laughing, but anyway, let me just go. I want to bring that out because I'm about to show you in Jeremiah. If you deceive person, his ghouls, because I don't like to call them people, and his ghouls. have a system in place, and this system is there to cause control. And let me just say this too. I had, like I said, I had all this stuff. Have you all ever been to a job, right? Everything is going fine. Feel like it's confusion because negative. Now, if you kill and slaughter, can you get Habakkuk chapter 12 for me? If you if you get if you're in a country that killed, rape, robbed, and murdered, and through bloodshed, they were able to build a town or a country, what will be the vibration levels in that particular country? Okay? Think about that real quick. All right. Now let's go to Jeremiah 7, verse 19. All right. Jeremiah 7, verse 19. Habakkuk chapter 12. Habakkuk chapter 2, I'm sorry. Habakkuk chapter 2. And then I'm gonna read Jeremiah 7 verse 19. Excuse me. The one about building a town with walls. Building a town with blood, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today. All right. Jeremiah 7, verse 19. And it says, do they provoke me to anger, saith the Most High? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? This is written to our people to understand that we're going to go into confusion because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, I'm going to read it again to let it soak in. All right, maybe I can just post the scripture here. Give me 1 minute. Now, I know some people didn't even know that this was written in the Bible.
What scripture is it? The one that says, build the town with blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, just hold that for me real quick. All right. Do they provoke me to anger, saith the Lord? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? You provoke the Most High. You provoke yourself too, because now, if you don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High laid forth, then you're going to go into confusion. You're going to eat whatever you want. We just showed you in illness, it means to eat foods that causes illness. Illness, if you look into scripture, it links into the word sin. You're ill because of sin. You're ill-mannered. A mental block. It's a mental problem there. That's what spirits are there for, to keep your focus off. If your brain is considered an antenna, you're tuned to the most high to the right. Satan is trying to pull your antenna and your frequencies to the left. And that's the reason why I don't know what that scripture means over there. I can't understand that scripture. I don't care about that scripture. I want to understand what this woman is over here while she walking around with what she got on. Look at me. So you all worried about the carnal. That's the reason, another reason. So let me just read more scriptures here. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 7. Daniel 9 and 7. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negro, right? And to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, which is the other tribes of Israel, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off. So we know that we were scattered amongst the nations, co-mingling. Remember that mental word, co-mingle? To co-mingle means you're dealing with other nations and their gods, and you babble, your confusion. That's what the word Babylon means, Babylonian. You become like barbaric nothing. You understand? Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them because of their trespass, that they have trespassed against thee. Trespassing means not following the laws. So we become confused of our own faces. the way you look, your phenotypes. We don't understand that all of us are linked together in a way where we all suffer the same things. And I even heard, and I watched some of this stuff. I heard Kanye West say, "They gonna marginalize me." Y'all know the one I'm talking about. Why, Sway? That interview when he was on the radio talk show program thingy with Sway in the morning or whatever it's called, and he was saying they marginalized me. I'm trying to. We're slaves to Nike. We're slaves to uh, these big corporations, these big companies. Why? If a regular rapper understands that, now think about it. You should be able to put a lot of us should be able to put the other puzzle pieces together. It's in the scriptures. We are the children of Israel. We are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, that's what it is. That's the reason you have mental illness. They're causing us to be mentally ill based on the foods. Is it a coincidence that they put more fluoride in the waters in the ghettos? Well, I know this for a fact because I did a test on the water, and the water came out greenish yellow, like someone just peed in a tub. Okay, so people can't tell me that this doesn't exist, and that lowers your vibration. You don't even feel comfortable taking a shower no more. Start acting off, and that's how you can become possessed by spirits. They call it. Is it a coincidence? A lot of the kids now coming up with this ADHD and ADD and all this other junk. Then you got the chemtrail program. Satan got everything in on a certain people. Now, of course, you're going to have specks and skit scats of the other nations getting caught up in it because they sojourn with you. They cool with you. So you know what? Okay, them Dukes of Rome and all those other people, and Israelis, those people over there in our land, which is a tourist attraction now in Israel. Okay, them people, you won't see chemtrails over there. Okay, you won't see no chemtrails over there. But all in America and some other countries, you're going to see it because they don't like to mix. See, certain parts of Esau, the so-called European, the evil seeds of the European. I like to make that clear as a disclaimer. The evil seeds of Esau do not like to mix himself with other nations. Hence, any other brother of Esau that does that is down with the minorities. And that's why they're going to come against America. So what they're going to do is they're going to destabilize all the other countries and blame it on America, which is America, which America is the whip to go and take down. And then when you wear out the whip, who's left? The slaves, the ones call themselves Johnson, the Birches, the Savoys. Okay, not the Kings though. We did some research on that name, but even though you have to watch out for the tribe of Gad and all the other tribes that's over here in this place. All right, so can you read? I got it. Okay, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. And it says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood." So that's going to be the spirit in which you're operating in. If a man build a town with blood, that says woe, which means punishment. Woe to it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish, which is establish. Establish in the old Quakers English, it says establish a city by iniquity. You see that? A city by sin, by iniquity. That's what sin is. So when you're establishing a city with iniquity, how would the people react if they are born in it? My question is, how many pickles can become a cucumber again? So some of us is just gonna think it's okay and be saturated and pickled into this place and think everything is fine. Okay, but some of us are not. Some of us have the spirit of the Most High. All right. So I just wanted to get into that. I know it's a little bit long, not that long. I'm not as long-winded as I used to be.
I need you to go into
Go ahead.
real quick. The first one, go
Hmm.
ahead and answer the question that was asked.
Oh, I didn't pray that. Hmm.
Okay, so Chosen asks, why does the obvious mind control not work on some of us as far as indoctrination and stuff like that?
Why doesn't it work? Let me see.
Yeah, and then I have one more thing after that.
Why does the obvious mind, someone obvious mind control do not work on some of us? And et cetera, indoctrination. Got you. Can you turn to Mark chapter 16 for me?
You have my Bible.
Mark chapter 16. I'm going to answer that real quick. Mark chapter 16. And I'm going to start at the 14th verse. Mark 16, verse 14. And it says, afterward, which is talking about Christ, he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart because they believed not. So there's some disbelief here. But I'm going to continue. Them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said, now mind you, they seen Christ. They hey, whatever. They still Christ was on the scene. They still didn't believe. But I'm going to use the term believe for when you said, why doesn't it work for some of us have seen? And then it's in verse 15. It says, and he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. Right? So a lot of times you believe, even as you know, you believe in the Most High, even when you were born. You understand? There's something in you that you just, man, I know it's something different here, and be damned, right? Verse 17, and these signs shall follow them that believe, and this is what Satan hates. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues, which means they understand. They're gonna understand some Hebrew. They may be able to break down words. They may be able to, you know, get the word across to their brothers and sisters, not cursing them a person out and all that. Verse 18, they shall take up serpents, and if drink any deadly thing, drinking, right? Now, if you look at the word drinking, I've done this before, it links to the word eating, ingesting foods. It shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Now, I have to put my wife out here for a second. I had an issue with my heart skips, right? I'm just putting it out here. Heart be skipping sometimes. Maybe it's nothing wrong with it. I got it checked. I say, hey, right? I want her to catch the heartbeat. All of a sudden, doesn't do anything, and then I'm good for a long time. And they try to come back and say, hey, can you grab my hand again? Some people have gifts of healing, right? Some people have gifts of healing. A lot of us have gifts. You can drink something. Now, this is not to say you're supposed to be some type of Jim Jones and drink some poison and you be dead somewhere. No, it's going to be given to you unknowingly, and your body will repair itself because of the Most High Spirit is within you. That's the way it works. Okay, you don't supposed to go just try to. I had to cut some foods back, and I'm still cutting back certain things. Like they put in Reese's Cup cereal. I used to love Reese's Cup cereal. That was one of my main cereals. They put butane in it. That's a poison. What is it? What's it's lighter fluid in cereal. You see what I'm saying? Come on. I'll be a fool not to cut that back. And I always look at it in the grocery store. It always like, dang, they had to put this stuff in there. So it's always gonna be a battle, but you should eat these things and it won't harm you. So that's one of the questions. What was the other one?
Okay. other sister
Hmm.
here brought out, she said my research finds that most people with mental illness are actually spiritually gifted. And I just wanted you to expand on the fact that a lot of people are misdiagnosed by
Yes.
these doctors and put on these medications
Yeah.
that put them, you know, under the witchcraft that deals with that, and that they're not actually having a mental illness.
Yeah. A lot of times it's not a mental illness. They make them. They say, oh yeah, a person that can see outside of their paradigm. Okay, they're not mentally ill. They try to push that on a person to make them deem them crazy. But the whole time they can see the world as it is. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead, go ahead and go. Um, for instance, they came out with the movie Matrix, right? Now, a brother I talked to about the Matrix, we was going back and forth. He said every time he watched the Matrix, and I'm the only person that he really liked to talk to about this. He said every time he watched the Matrix, he felt like he was connected to the movie, and it made his stomach like give him butterflies, and his gut would just. He would always he would watch it over and over, and he always would get something different about it, and it just made him feel like this stuff is real. And I'm gonna show you where they get the word from, so you can understand that it is real. All right. So just bear with me. I'm gonna show you. Even in the word, when Peter was given the keys, uh, let me go to it real quick. I'm gonna just show you how they try to make someone that can see crazy, right? Just a small example. They're gonna call you. They're gonna have to call you something. Give me 1 second. If it doesn't work this way, I'll find another way to make it work. Yeah. I haven't done this in a while, but I want to answer this question so you personally understand it. Yeah. If you go to Matthew chapter 16, verse 19. Matthew 16, verse 19. And he was talking to Peter about this. This is what Christ was saying to Peter. Okay. And it says, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. So basically, he gave Peter the keys of the kingdom of heaven, which means he gave him the key, which is the Holy Spirit. Now, I'm going to show you what Peter means, which means an open door. Like if you your mind is open to the truth now, you understand it, right? Now, when you go, and like I said, for those of you that follow my channel know how I teach when it comes down to words. Now, if you put in the word in the Hebrew, and I'm gonna put the link up, matrix, because that's why they named it that. Okay, it is not a coincidence that you look at the word Hebrew number 6363, and it says Peter, and then it says matrix, a fissure, firstling, as an opening to matrix, open if such as open. He opened Peter's mind to understand that he was in a world of hell. And the Holy Spirit is the one that would have him bend the rules. That's why they come out with these movies like that. All right. So I'll show this link here. And that's just the small understanding of it. But it goes into other uh, verses and stories in the Bible that it would take me a minute to I have to put that together another date. But if you want to get that, it's right there. I didn't make this stuff up. I want to make sure this link works. I think you have to press Shift, Control. Hopefully that link works because it'll take you right to the definition I just read. Okay. And then someone just posted, many are called and few are chosen. That's another reason why those actual poisons won't work on certain people. few I chose, the many are called, because there were a lot of people here. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on. It's about to rain. Come on, we got to get away from here. We got to move. We got to do this. Noah, 120 years was prophesying. He was ministering, trying to get people. They ain't listen. They waited till it was too late, and the Most High sent sharks on them. When you read, and I think it's in the book of Enoch, in the book of Jasher. All right, so there you all have it. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, I know this was going to be a little bit long. I used to do this a while back. Just bring back some of your memories. I guess I'll start doing it this way. Hopefully, the volume was clear, and you all heard me very clearly. All right. About to just head on out. Anything you got to say? All right. This is my life, and I will be doing this for the rest of it. Shalom.